am finally live on all fronts, I think. I do see myself vaguely on a camera, on my web camera here. Um, and we will be getting to the live part of the show to where we have our Lisa scopes. I'm doing it right now. And if you want to make comments, I can finally see everything. If you don't see me, it's probably just as well. But you can hear me, which is even better, right? Because this is what you're listening to. So Capricorn, I know it's been a rough kind of week going on. And I'm just like taking a look at what's going on around what happened with last week as we're here for Capricorn here. We had the High Priestess for you last week. Let's take a look at what you have this week. This week you have the Swiftness card here, the Eight of Wands, if you can see this, the Eight of Wands. It's talking about a lot of communications going down. Last week you were just trying to use your intuition and try to figure out what was going on around you. Now there's a lot of communication that's coming up in this next week for you for the things that you were looking at trying to accomplish. You should be finding that in this up and coming week that the air around you is ready to hear you, basically. That you will be able to get like the things that you've been thinking about going, and pay attention to who you're communicating with. They're going to help you get what you want with the communications card here. That Eight of Wands is really nice. You will find that you will be able to get things done. Sometimes you can find yourself really stymied in a lot of ways, not being able to communicate with people. But next week, what's coming up from like where you are right now is that you've been thinking about what you've needed to do this past week, and you're seeing how things are supposed to be going. Next week, you're going to have people that will help you get to, say you're planning something and you need to, how would we say, so you're planning something and you need to get a lot of things in order. This next week is that week for you to get things in order, and you will find people will be working with you. So this is good. The Eight of Wands is always a fun card, I think, because you get things done. It's a lot of communication, and people listen to you. So do not be afraid to use your voice next week, Capricorn, because you are getting things accomplished and getting things in order. Okay, let's see. Going over to Aquarius, this past week was Six Swords. Things are going exactly as you need them to be going this week, Aquarius. Whether or not it feels like it is, I think I probably, told you last week that it was going in divine perfection. Let's see where we're going for you next week. Next week for you, I want to see what we got going on here. So now you have the eight. We got some eights going on here, huh? The Eight of Discs, which means that, with the Eight of Discs for you from this is that you're going to feel like you're almost smothered by people trying to help you, or you're feeling like there's a lot of people around you that want to help you with what you're trying to achieve, Aquarius, but you may have to like pick up your leadership skills here and figure out how you're going to manage them. Okay. So what it's telling you is that you've got a lot of people who do want to help you, Aquarius, this next week coming up. You may have to pick up your leadership skills and delegate, which is not maybe the thing that like is the easiest for you, but it is something that is being placed upon you to help you get what you need done. Pay attention to those people who are helping you. They do want to help you, so this is a good thing. But sometimes the most eager people who try to help you can get like in your way. So if you delegate well, they won't be in your way. But the challenge with you, Aquarius, is like, how do you handle all those well-meaning people who are trying to help you without them hindering you in this next week coming up? So, take a look, assess the people around you that want to help you, and maybe figure out what would be the best thing for them to help you with instead of them getting in your way. But it's nice that you have people that do want to help you achieve the goals that you're looking for. It's just up to you to figure out how do you manage them so that they will be somebody who can help you and not hinder you. Okay, very interesting on that one. Okay, this past week, Pisces, I saw that you were feeling very stuck and alone with that Five of Cups. What we're coming into this next week for you, it's actually better. You have the Emperor card. Now, the Emperor card is a major arcana card, however you want to say it. When we have this going on, We know that it's a major life lessons for you. And from one, it looks like you're kind of swerving, Pisces, from one extreme to the others this week. You had the Five of Cups where you were feeling kind of stuck and alone. Now it's up to you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps with this Emperor card and take charge of your situation. Now, here's the thing about the Emperor card. When we get the Emperor card, we can either use it or misuse it. Now, what I mean by this is, and I'm saying this to Pisces so that you can be sensitive of this, okay? The Emperor card means that you need to take control of a situation, but you can't be a tyrant either. So the what's the word I'm looking at? The word of caution for this is like you can pull the reins in and rule your area that you're going to be ruling. And like dictate how you want things done, very regimented, but don't go to the point to where you're so regimented that those around you have no flexibility with you, in the sense of you could come across as short and snippy during this time. So for Pisces who really likes things to go with the flow, when I tell you to rein it in and like dictate your situation, what I'm trying to tell you is dictate your situation, but don't be a dictator. Does this make sense, my dear Pisces? I know you were feeling kind of really stuck and alone this week, but next week it's time for you to kind of take charge about how you're going to do things, but don't bark at people. Try to like get things under control, but not in a very, I guess, dictator sort of way. You want to get control of it, but not so much control to where people feel like they're being suffocated by you. So it's going to be an interesting challenge for you, because you like to go with the flow, but getting things under control and getting them to work for you is kind of a challenge in some ways, but it can be done, and it can be done with a smile. Just try to think about like what you're doing next week when you're like really trying to take control of the situation. Just remember that I told you smile while you're trying to take control, so that you don't scare people with the intensity of your project or whatever you're doing. Okay, I hope this makes sense. I think it will. I think you'll understand what I mean. Have some flexibility in that leadership role. Okay, Aries, you're the Seven of Swords. Things were trying to there was a change of action for you in this past week. You were trying to change the way things were going, or it is changing around you. I would say maybe you don't even have to try to change, but there's movement around you. And if you let go of the reins and let the movement happen, because things weren't working out the way that you wanted them to, you're going to see that there is a change in the direction of the way things are going, which was supposed to happen, okay? I don't feel like it's out of your control, but the reason I say that is because what you have is another. So last week was the Seven of Swords. This week is the Seven of Wands, and it's upside down, which means that you may feel like the tide is turning and you have no control. You have no choice but to kind of go with the flow. Things are changing. There's movement around you. After being stuck for a while, this may feel like it's a bit overwhelming for you, Aries. What do I want to say about this? Well, you know, things do happen. Changes happen whether we like it or not. Just learn to accept the fact that these changes, like these happenings around you, whether you want them to, like it could be a change in the situation of your job, especially since we've got it hit for you now. This week it's the Swords, so there's actions that you're not really liking that's going on around you. And then next week it's going to be the Wands. So this means that there's a lot of tumultuous energy around you, Aries. You don't like that, but try to keep your emotions away from it while the changes are happening, and you will find that it will work out much better for you. I'm only saying this because I know that Aries like to be in control of the situation, and with all these sevens going on around you right now, you may feel very much not in control, and this is going to feel emotionally like it's a little bit overwhelming. But sit back, let the tides do the changing for you, and recognize when the chips fall and they settle, then you can recuperate and this is probably going to take a couple weeks, since I know what's coming up, what I can see going on this next week. Probably as we're looking into late July and August, you're going to find yourself much more centered, but it's going to feel like there was a whirlwind of change and movement around you, a lot of which you didn't have control about, but you'll be able to gather up those pieces and rebuild soon. So do not worry, my dear Aries. Things will settle down soon for you. It's just a time of movement. And hey, listen, sometimes we feel really stuck, and then sometimes we feel like we have no control over a situation. What I can see with you going on right now, Aries, is that you've got a little bit of both, where it feels like everything's moving and you have no control over anything. But hang tight, it's going to get better in the next couple of weeks. We always need that kind of sweeping motion coming through our lives to clear out energy anyways, no matter what sign we are. It's just a learning point, for a learning curve for all of us, about adapting to the situations around us. Okay, Taurus, I could see that you had new beginnings this week. It's like you had the Ace of Discs, which is nice. It means it was the beginning of starting to see successes for you. Let's see what else you got. You have the Lover's card this week, which is nice. The Lover's card. So the Lover's card is it's coming up into this next week. So you had the beginning of like seeing results of a situation. Now the Lover's card is a major arcana card for you, Taurus, and the Lover's card is basically saying that you're going to be taking a look at a situation that maybe you walked away from, and you're just trying to see if it's something that you want to continue with, or do you need to change. Now Lovers always is talking, it sounds so romantic, right? But basically it's reassessing a situation and seeing if you want to continue, if it still works for you or not. So this could be in the essence of maybe you're working with somebody and you're not sure if you want to continue working with them, if it serves you for the better or not. But I really wouldn't be too worried about this. Just pay attention to what you're reevaluating right now and see if it still works for you or not. If it does work for you, you'll continue with whatever this is, whether it's a person or a situation. If it doesn't, you'll feel free to kind of move forward and leave this behind. But it is a week next week kind of judgment to say, hey, is this where I really want to be? I've looked at the situation before. Now I'm reassessing it. It could be a person too. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Taurus. It's a week of assessment and reassessment and seeing if what everything in your world is. Well, I wouldn't say everything. I have a feeling this is a particular subject that's important to you or person, but you're going to say, hey, if this works for me, I'm going to continue. If it doesn't, I'm going to find a better way to do things. So don't be discouraged about the fact that you're assessing right now. It is the time for assessing next week, and it will feel very kind of organic whether to stay or to let go of a situation. But it is important that you do it, because whenever we get a major arcana card like the Lovers, it's just saying that we have to assess the situation. And for you, Taurus, shouldn't be too hard, because you have a lot of your analytical mind that will push you to make the right decision. So while it might be harder for some signs, I'm not worried about Tauruses like doing this, because I know you guys are really good at like figuring out situations when you need to. Okay, so Gemini had the Hierophant this week. It means pay attention to the people who are giving you information, and like these new people coming in. It's I'm very curious, because we're at Thursday now. So this week there were probably people or situations that were giving you advice. Pay attention to these people and listen to the advice. It was an important week for you. Now we go into this next week with the Four of Wands, which means that you're trying to emotionally balance and be in balance with the things around you this next week. So there have been shifts around you, Gemini, that we're looking at, and you're just trying to keep in balance with all these changes going on around you. You may find yourself more emotional than normal, especially with the Four of Cups. Take time to take care of yourself this next week, because this is something that can make you feel a little more on the emotional roller coaster. I'm not going to lie. It's not a bad 2 weeks for you, Gemini. It's just maybe a more emotional 2 weeks for you in some ways. But pay attention this week. I mean, we're here in this week. I'm very interested to see the counsel that you're getting. I mean, this could be shifting the, I mean, I'm thinking of some of the Geminis I know. This could be shifting your world a little bit on how you're going to proceed. You could be having some upsets with that Hierophant card, but this is a chance for you to kind of change a situation this week, and you have some counsel for a reason. Pay attention to it, and then listen to it so that you can move forward in the best way possible for you. Every once in a while, we do get the Hierophant card, which means there's like really good tidbits of information. People are giving us some information that can make us change even the way we're doing things. So you may find a sudden shift in situations to where you have opportunities with this Hierophant card this week. Use them and move forward, and know that this is kind of a game changer. And then next week, you may find that this game changer is really overwhelming and you feel a little bit overwhelmed by that, but just listen to your emotions, go with them, and recognize that this is kind of part of the tides with you going on right now. Being a Gemini, it's going to be okay. Okay. It's just that you have the opportunity to change things, and depending on how you accept them and how you embrace them, this is what's going to be dictating, the next few months for you. And it's actually, to me, for the Geminis that I know, a lot of the information that's coming in for you guys is actually really good game-changing information. So good luck with that. You have my full support on how you work through some of this stuff, but also know that, this is what it is sometimes. Okay, so Cancer had the Wheel of Fortune this past week, so you're seeing things change for you this week, Cancer. Because I always do, I probably should be on a Sunday so that I could talk about the week ahead, but I'm on a Thursday. So you get a couple days a weekend to kind of like listen to it and then watch the new week come in. So when I do this, I'm looking, when I say last week, it's like right now going on. So when I see that Cancer is the Wheel of Fortune card, I know that things are changing for you this week, Cancer, and new beginnings for you. Actually, a lot of luck that is going on for you as well. But I'm very curious to see how this is affecting the Cancers around me. Let's see what's coming up for you in this next week, Cancer. Cancer has the 9 of Discs. Okay, so this is interesting because we got the Emperor. We had the Wheel of Fortune with you, and now the 9 of Discs. So this is saying for you, Cancer, there are people around you that can help you with your new endeavors as you're going and marking this new beginning. Pay attention to the people who are supporting you in this next week. You have more support than you thought you did concerning like some of the aspects in your world, which is kind of nice. So it's almost like there's a fresh page, a fresh start for you, and then you have support. If you're trying to start something, if you're trying to start a business or get a job or something like this, recognize that you have people who are there who can help you, which is lovely, and who are willing to. So pay attention to the people who are around you in this next week trying to help you and, prop you up and give you support. These are people who are important to you, and they're in your life for a reason, and they're in your life to help you get to where you need to be and achieve the things that you want to achieve. So that's kind of a nice thing for, Cancers to have. You're going to feel supported in this new beginnings for you, and they're going to help you with those new beginnings. So I like the fact that we're seeing this for you, Cancer. Okay, going on to Leo. Leo had the Judgment card, so things were coming down this week, Leo. You may be like trying to make decisions or needing to make decisions that you haven't really wanted to look at before. But Leo, you're such a strong, earthy kind of sign in the sense that you're really grounded. This week may be kind of one of those difficult weeks where these decisions that you're making are affecting, like maybe you stop something and start another job, but you're making those decisions this week. Let's take a look at where we're going with next week for you. So there are endings and beginnings for you, Leo, right now. Oh, well, nice. Okay, so Leo has the 6 of Cups here, which I always love this card. It depicts like lovers in a sense, like it's the pleasure card is what they call that on my deck. The 6 of Cups for you, after going through this Judgment card, it looks like this next week, Leo, you're probably going after your passion. So if you're ending a job and then going towards something that you want to be going towards next week, that will make a lot of sense. Or if you're in a relationship, you may be deciding to like solidify that relationship or end one relationship and go into another relationship, this type of thing. But this next week coming up for you is actually really good. Whenever we see the Six of Cups, we know that you're probably going to be in a good mood, Leo. And seeing as where you are this week, just know the hard decisions that you make this week will end up for like pleasurable things next week. Okay, so bear in mind that this happens and we all have to make some hard decisions, but you have happiness afterwards. To me, with some of the Leos that I've been talking to lately, they've been trying to figure out what their work situation was, and they were trying to figure out, should I stay in the job that I hate or should I go towards what I like? It looks like you're making these decisions this week, and then next week you're going to find yourself in a better position, like liking what you're doing. So I love that about my fellow Leos. I hope this gives you some relief knowing that these decisions that you're making this week is going to cause like a good week next week. Okay, that's how I'm going to look at it. Okay, Virgos had the Three of Cups. This week was pretty good for Virgos. Probably been around family or a lot of happiness. Those threes, a lot of times when we get threes, it's talking about, think of the divine trinity. All good things come in threes for the most part. So for you guys, you were having a lot of happiness this week. Probably being around people that you wanted to be around, the beginnings. It's like it's love and birth and celebration, that Three of Cups. So we love those Three of Cups for you this week, Virgos. I'm happy that you have that. Let's see what next week brings for you. You have the Prince of Discs coming up for you next week. Okay. So the Prince of Discs, going from like having this wonderful week of like being very connected and having a good week in that sense, you're going straight into so you're going from a very heartfelt place to almost a very analytical place next week for you, Virgo. You're trying to see if what you're doing measures up to what you want to be doing, or if the job measures up to what you want to be into. It's a lot of assessing. It's a lot of mental work after such a heartfelt week. You may have had such a good time spending with people that now you're wondering, what am I doing? Does this measure up to what I want to be doing? If it does, that's great. If it doesn't, you're going to know next week. There's a lot of analytical processing going on for you, thinking, is this where I want to be? Is this what I want to do? That's okay. This stuff happens for people. And that assessment is only there so that you can measure against. I mean, I'm glad you're having a good week this week, Virgo, with that Three of Cups. But the assessment is not a bad thing. It's just every once in a while, we got to take a look to say, am I on the right course? And that's what you're going to be doing next week, Virgo. A lot of analyticals, a lot of like assessing whether certain things meet your needs in your life. But take advantage of this week of all the good things that are happening around you this week. Next week, you're going to be making some decisions, or like, I wouldn't even say they're decisions. You're just assessing where you need to be. If you're not where you need to be in your life, you'll make those changes. If there are people who are around you that aren't what you want them to be, you'll make those changes too. So, I mean, it's just assessing your situation, measuring up to, am I where I want to be? Am I with the right people that I want to be with right now? Is this the right job for me? That's what I see a lot of your mind work doing next week, Virgo. Not to stress about it, because you are my worry sign of the the zodiac here. It's a necessary thing, but the week after that, you'll probably be making some actions. It's just you assessing next week, not so much making like throwing things out or anything. It's just doing a mental tally of like a check-in, basically. How are things going for me? Is this where I want to be? That's okay. It's a good week to do it because that's what we're pulling. And I'm sure the week after that, there's going to be more action of some sort, but I haven't gone that far yet for you. I guess you'll just have to tune in next week to see what next week brings. Libras, we had the Queen of Swords, where we were really trying to stand our ground this week and show ourselves for who we are. I say we because I'm a Libra. Most of you know that. And a few of you have my birthday, which I always find so humorous because I really didn't know anybody in my own world, and now I reach out to the virtual world and I find that there are sister Libras with my same birthday, at least 3 of you, which I think is crazy, but hey, it's all good. Let's take a look, Libra. Oh, cool. Oh, I think, I always hold my breath whenever I pull the cards for Libras because I know it's affecting me. I could say everything else so smoothly, but like, And then when we hit Libra, I'm like, ugh. So we had the Queen of Swords of where we were standing up for ourselves this week and really showing ourselves for who we were. I guess I guess how it hit me was I was starting to write again and do some things to where I was really putting myself like out there and making my stance, and then what we have, this is why I'm like, oh good, we have the Empress card, dun dun dun. So this is meaning that we're like on top of ourselves this next week. Like the Empress card is things are going well for us. If you have a court date or anything having to do with court, just know you'll be winning. I'm saying that to some of the Libras that I know that are out there. It's a good week for us to be in charge. There's a lot of energy around us next week. With what we're doing, just think of success. The Empress rules her kingdom, kind of like the Emperor, but everything that she touches turns to gold in a sense. Like it's a good week for us next week, Libra. So I'm glad to see that. We haven't had that in a while. Just knowing, because I know what the Libra cards have been all year. This will probably be a good week for us to produce, to have a lot of energy around us, to go for what we really want. I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to give that news to my fellow Libras, to know that it's going to be a good week for us to produce, create, get what we want type deal, and to really make ourselves known. So very good to see that for Libras. Scorpios, last week you had the Magus card, which is this week basically. So you felt really in charge and on top of things, like things were going for you. If you were trying to sell something or, create something or get something done, this week was probably a good week for you to show what you could do. You have all the tools that you need to make successes, and it probably showed this week. So congratulations for that. Let's see where you're going to next week. Next week, you have the Princess of Wands, which is saying, take the successes that you had this week and don't let that, I guess, don't let the high energy of that deteriorate. Lose your fear if you want to be talking about something or do an action. Don't let anything stop you. That Princess of Wands is like encouraging you to slay your fears and move forward. So this next week for you, Scorpio, I want to see you like continue on that high that you have this week, but like maybe attack those situations that are a little daunting to you, that you felt like you didn't know if you could handle or not. Use the energy of the successes of this week into taking it into next week, and push yourself to challenge yourself more next week on those things that maybe you were a little scared of, because that Princess of Wands is saying that you can basically conquer anything that's in your way, even if the scary stuff, the action is going on there. So take the success of today and like go for the things that maybe scare you, and push yourself forward, and know that you will be successful in that as well. So I have a lot of Scorpios that are listening. I do know this. It's really funny. Like, I really think that there's only 6 people ever listening, but by the end of the week, it goes up in the hundreds. I think a lot of people listen to this later or see this later, which is kind of cool. But I just like to think that I'm talking to 6 people, maybe 8 people, so I don't get stage fright. But, I do get the feedback. And for my Scorpio friends out there, so this week is okay. Notice that you have some wins this week. Take that energy of your wins and push yourself. So say you had some success this week, push yourself to do some of the things that you feel very scared about for next week, but you're going to feel very confident that you did do this. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a good high for you, Scorpio. Ride that high and push yourself into those things that you're actually a little scared to do, and you're going to find that you have successes, okay? Push yourself through your barriers is what I'm trying to challenge you to do next week, and you're going to find good success, okay? So that's really good for my Scorpio friends. Sagittarius had 7 of Wands, so things were changing around you, Sagittarius, around your work and everything. You not necessarily to you, but around you is what I'm seeing this week for you, Saggies. Let's see what we're going to be pushing you into. I'm joking, but where you're going to go. No Sagittarius likes to be pushed. Let's be honest. Where you're going to go next week. Ooh, not bad. It's the Two of Cups for you, Sagittarius. So this is the self-love card. So you have actually a good week coming up for you, Sagittarius. It's basically about self-care, about like I mean, it's a good week. You're going to feel very loved. You're going to feel very appreciated next week. I want you to do something nice for yourself next week. Sagittarius, you have been kind of a product of like a lot of change around you and you working through the changes that are going around you. But next week, it's your time to like slow down, pamper, enjoy the people that you enjoy. I love that Two of Cups card. It's always a good card. It's never a bad card. It's always talking about care and love and all the things that we need in our lives. Here you're going to pampering yourself is what when I think of females, I'm like, take a self-care week for yourself, do what you need to do. It's a good week for that. Now I am going to be looking here. I'm going to be looking here to see what my Facebook page has with all the comments, because I have like 3 pages up here and I'm trying to figure out what people are saying. I'm seeing comments go up, so I'll try to answer them now. I finally got through. I only have a few more seconds basically to do this. So let's see. Great message for Scorpio. I'm glad you like that, Mary. That was for you. Libra sister here. Happy July. Hoping July brings some good surprises. Of course, Maureen. I know. Me too. I also, Catherine Hickey. Yes, I'm finally live. I know it was really hard. Mary wanted to know, am I leaving? Let's see. Hi, Lisa. Am I leaving Sunday to find property in San Diego for my daughter to live in? Do you see a positive outcome? Also, are we going to have our second anniversary? We're going to have our 42nd anniversary down there on July 7th. Well, first of all, 42nd anniversary, you have beat the odds. I don't know how many times over, Mary. My God, good for you. Now, for your daughter, I don't know her birthday, but let me take a look. I'll pull on that really quickly to see what I have an answer for that with. You have the Ace of Wands upside down. I think you'll start to look at properties, but I'm wondering how the weather is going to be. That might be an impingement on what you're doing down there in San Diego. I think it's a good start. I don't know if you'll find anything, though, but I do feel that you're going to help her find something to live in. It may not be this week, but it's at least a start. Don't pressure. Yeah, because I got the disappointment card here. Don't pressure. Put so much pressure on yourself to try to find something this week, but it will be a start. And I do feel like doing the looking is going to give you a better grasp of what your situation is and where you're going to be going with that situation, Mary. I mean, it's not a waste of time, obviously. I actually think you're going to have a good time, but it may not be all about the properties like you were thinking. Give yourself more than this weekend to do it, though, is definitely what I'm thinking, because I don't feel like there's going to be an outcome like we found something. I do feel like you're going to assess it, though, and maybe rule out some of the places you wouldn't want her to live and like zone in maybe a little bit more on where you're thinking like you could be going. So I'm not too worried about that. I just don't feel like it's going to be a very quick success. I think it's going to take a little more time than this first time going down to San Diego, but I have a feeling you'll be doing more of this and you will help her find a property. It just won't be this weekend is what I mean. I don't feel like the outcome is like, oh, we found something and we're going to buy it. I think there's going to be more of you looking towards getting the property over the next few weeks. I mean, I would even say a couple months is what I'm feeling. But you'll get the right property when you get the right property. You got to start somewhere. And that's what I think this next week is going to be on. Really, I would maybe instead focus on the fact that you're family and you're having good family time together, especially with your anniversary and the fact that you get to see your daughter. That's a wonderful thing for yourself. Let's see what else is going on. Let's see. I know I have them all over the place here. Let me just hit this. Whoops. Well, whoops. I see that my chats are going up here. I didn't look at my chats here at all. Sorry. Hey there, Cupcake. Okay. Well, Hung Donkey, I don't think that you're probably someone that I have much to say to. I know, right? What do you got to say? It is what it is. Let's see what else I'm saying. Yes, we had a late start. Okay. Let's see. Thanks for the beautiful message. I really don't know what more to say today. I know I started late and I'm really sorry. I completely scratched the cornea of my eye, which is why I'm wearing glasses today. If you do see me. I mean, most of you are hearing me. I know a lot of you hear me on 12radio.com. I hope you all are enjoying 12radio.com. This is where we are changing the way you listen to the world. I will say that. I mean, this is something that I believe in strongly, that we have a great show lineup on 12radio.com, where I do my show simulcast with you know, with this, basically with my live Facebook. It's a great radio station. If you haven't listened to it, go ahead, put www.12radio.com. You'll see that there's a lot of us that do different types of shows, and we do appreciate your patronage when you are listening to us. It makes us very happy that you can hear all the different insights from all our different advisors on 12listen.com as well. That's where I will be this week. If you want a reading, if you need to find me, you can always find me on 12listen.com. I do I'm on frequently. I don't really have the most what do you call it, schedule that is like, you just got to find me but I am on a lot, so you can always find me there, or you can find me here every week on 12radio.com and on Facebook Live at 12 p.m. My time, which would be Mountain Central, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is what we usually do our shows by Pacific Standard Time normally. And I believe it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you want to know. So Maureen asked me, I've been applying for many remote positions. Do you see this being a positive outcome? Yes, Maureen, I do. Well, you got the 6 of cups I just shuffled. I do see you getting that. I didn't even need to shuffle, but I did already know this. You'll get what you're going to get. I felt that you were going to have a little time off for the summer, and then you would get a job probably like in August is what I was thinking. So this is your time to apply for what you want to apply for. What I'm very happy about, Maureen, is the fact that you are done with the very toxic job that you had. I felt like that was very important for you to get away from. Do not stress about the fact that you don't have anything right now. That's only because of the fact that you need this time to yourself and to enjoy your family and your husband. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out in divine perfection, I promise you. So I'm happy I pushed myself to do this today so that I could be live for you all. I'm sorry that it is a little late, but we did get it done. And I'm really happy to see that we did do a show. So stay tuned next week, and hopefully, I will be in better spirits, I guess, eye-wise and whatnot. I mean, scratch cornea sucks, guys. I've been sleeping all day. I really was going to hop out of this, but I'm glad I pushed myself to do what I needed to do so that I could be here for you. And thank you for being here for me. I will see you guys next week. God, we really didn't stay on that long today. We only stayed on 40 minutes. Thank you for being here. I know that we started late. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. And I'm looking forward to hearing about all the good things that you'll be doing this weekend. Have a safe 4th of July. I just want to say before I leave and sign off, I have dogs, and I know that probably a lot of you have dogs. I also want to say I'm so sorry, Mary, about your daughter's dog. This is why I'm doing this little quick PSA. Fireworks, guys, just remember that a lot of animals are really traumatized by fireworks. It could set off a really bad stream of events. And if you do have dogs, make sure you turn on your music or give them something soothing if you're not going to be there for the 4th of July, just so that they're comforted, because fireworks can really do a lot of damage, to animals. Mary's daughter's dog took off hearing a firework and got hit by a car earlier this week. And it was really tragic to read about, and tragic for her family in general. So she was I'm only saying this also is because my mom had a dog named Dolly who had a stroke when they heard and died basically when they heard the fireworks and they weren't there. So just be careful about this weekend when you're going off to go see fireworks or whatnot, just make sure to keep music on for your animals or stay home to make sure that they're comforted, because this is a very traumatic time for our animals and we don't really pay attention to it until something really tragic happens. So I'm trying to be an animal advocate right now and remind you all that this could be a very scary time for them. So do what you can as pet owners. And maybe if you have fireworks, try to not put them in a neighborhood, take them someplace where there may not be a lot of distressed animals. Okay. So that is my PSA for now. And I'm hoping you guys have a very safe and wonderful, happy 4th of July to celebrate our America's birthday. And I will see you next week on the other side of this week. Okay. Have a great day. Make good choices. And I will see you later. Bye, guys. Have a happy holiday. Signing off.